Everybody look. Doesn't that face look familiar?
Hey! Alright. Hello, Internet. Another day here in the garage. And it's about that time to talk about the MRS, MR2, depending on where you're at in the world, and just refer to it as the American name, which is a MRS Spyder. So this is a 2000 model, the first year they built them. They built these cars from 2000 to 2005 in the United States. However, if you are somehow watching this from the UK, those cars continued on to 07 over there, and I also believe in Japan as well. The American market didn't like these cars that well, so they stopped making them in 05. Everyone knows the first gen flip-up light, and everyone's beloved model is the second gen, which I was one of those people as well. Fell in love with the second gen. But after a friend of mine asked me to come pick up one of these with him, he went and bought one in Oregon years ago, and he needed someone to drive it back. Drove it back, and I realized I was missing out on a pretty awesome car. Then he later swapped the car, and after he swapped the car, I went from, oh man, I'm missing out on a car that I overlooked, to like, I have to have it. So years later, here I am with this 2000 model. But before I continue with this, I'm going to give a little backstory. This is MRS number 2. I did an update video back in 2001, a garage update, which I'll put a link in here. And if anyone remember, for the probably handful of people right now who actually still stay tuned to the channel, like I had a MRS, a white one. This is white. This is not the same car. Over here on my garage wall is the front bumper to that car, which was a 2001. That car was actually originally yellow, and the owner at some point painted it white. I'll try to sum this up because I could be here for like an hour and change telling the story. Bought the car. At the time, I felt like it was a good deal because that's when the price of these cars started to go up. But I was fortunate to get that car, already have a 2ZZ swap with the OEM hardtop, and a few other bits and pieces on it. But the main thing was there, and it had the TRD lip kit all the way around. So got the car. I posted a little bit about it, didn't post too much because it needed some work to my standard. The main things were there, stuff just needed to be tweaked. Fast forward a little bit, it came with a 5-speed. I ordered a 6-speed from Monkey Wrench Racing. And I ordered the Apex C with the Commander ECU. And I had ordered a roll bar at the time. Not doing any research, honestly being lazy. It was a roll bar that was designed for the soft top. And this car had hardtop with a soft top delete. And it was cheaper. It was $600 versus the, I think, 9 something for the other one that you had to cut up the chassis to put in. And I just didn't want to deal with all that. Learned that very day that that wasn't really designed for the hardtop. But me being me, I figured out some DIY way to make it fit with the hardtop, and then decided to take it out for a drive. In the process, I pretty much totaled the car. I hit a bump on a well-known highway here in Tacoma, doing about, last time I looked down, I was at 130, and I just kept going. The car lift, which I was prepared for, I hit this jump all the time. I have plenty of videos of hitting this jump and head the math. What's that? Pretty much the opposite way. And I typically don't hit it this way, but I was prepared for it. Long story short, I fucked up. I hit it too hard. The suspension was very bouncy. And when the car got airborne and came down, it bounced. It landed and bounced so high that when it came back up, the back kind of went to the side. So when it came back down again at the speed I was going, the car was like pointing like not straight. So I corrected, but with that speed and everything happened so fast, like it whipped around. Anyway, I pretty much hit the barrier, spun, the freaking hardtop ejected like freaking James Bond, pressed ejectocito, spun around, conveniently spun around right at like an exit, and then just continued to drive off to the side. And that's how that car got totaled. Love the car so much that end up getting another one. I forgot to also mention, this to me is the curse of the MR2, which is what I plan to title this video. So that's how the curse started. Part of it is mainly, well, it's my fault, obviously, for pushing the car to its limits and not being comfortable with the chassis. But, you know, I do that with a lot of cars all the time, and it usually works out. So I just felt like this was the beginning of the end. So that happened. Tried to salvage what I could off the car. End up getting another one, which was this one, which came with a hardtop, but the hardtop wasn't OEM, but I'll kind of go more into that later on. So I was like, okay, I'll just take what I can off that car, which the main thing was the motor. So took the motor out, put it in, take it for a test drive, did like, I think 2 or 3 passes, felt good. Went for another one, going to the store, and the car felt funny and started smoking. Long story short, fucking car jump timing. Now the car's down. There's so many things that happen after that I don't even want to get into it. But this is 2001, and we are now just beginning 2024. So 3 years later, fingers crossed, it's almost complete. It's not fully complete yet. I never posted any videos of the wrecked car or anything, because at the time I thought within like a few months I was going to be back up and running, and then I'll kind of do what I'm doing now, explaining what happened and blah 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 blah. But here I am 3 years later doing that. Anyway, this car is different from that, and that's a little backstory. Now I'm getting tired trying to explain this story, so I'm just going to skip all that and just start talking about this car. Okay, so let's start from the front. Up front here, as usual, I DIY everything. So the lip that you're looking at right now is not a Toyota lip. I didn't want the TRD replica lip because I just don't like how it has the indent in the, I don't know, I just don't like it. It's kind of like the only option, unless you're gonna go get like a body kit bumper, which those just look so freaking ugly to me. There's not a lot of stuff out there for this car, and you just gotta make it do, which works for me because I like making up my stuff. What this is a Honda EK charge speed replica lip that I cut in the middle and put together, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to connect it right here. It would be too far. But I wanted these connecting points to be on it, so I had to trim maybe about 1 inch out the middle. This looks like about 1 inch or less than 1 inch, because this is what I cut out the middle of this. I cut that out to make it fit. So once I did that, you can't see here, but if you're in the UK, because I've seen this on a lot of UK cars, right here, you know where the charge speed connects. Under here I trimmed it because it has like a little piece that comes over to fit the Honda, but then I had to trim it to fit here, but then there's like a gap here when you look down. I've seen online a few of them where have the gap. I didn't like that, so what do? This little piece right here, this is like a really thin layer of aluminum that I trim to fit here, and then bolt this down. And obviously you can see it's a different color. This is gray the theme of the car is black, white, and gray with a hint of yellow. So then I made this gray, and you know, that's black, and just to kind of make it look a little different. Then down here, I just have like a small piece, leftover piece that I got from a friend. Well, I didn't get it from him. It was in one friend's garage, and I just took it because I wasn't using it, and just trimmed it up. So you can see this doesn't go all the way out, and it's because it wasn't wide enough, and I didn't want to go buy a whole nother piece. I was like, this will work. I'll make it work. So I just kind of extend this curve to just kind of make it work. It's just a little baby lip. I'm not trying to make this for like maximum downforce or something. This is mainly cosmetic for me, and just, you know, bolt it to the bottom of that. The next thing you can see here in the front is two things. Delete the corner light, another thin layer of aluminum which I cut out per the size of the light, and then just kind of curved it, slapped some paint on it, and then went ahead and double side tape it because I hate these damn lights. And I can't even find a Euro bumper that doesn't have it for sale. And if I do, the cost of the bumper plus shipping, not worth it. So that's that. And then one of my favorite items here is the handcrafted canard. It might not look it from in here, but this is literally handcrafted, bent with a hammer, and just keep banging and messing around with. And then just bolted, made my little L brackets, 3 of them. And then right here, the infamous piece of everyone knowing me that I put on almost everything that I cut. And that kind of helps it seal right here so it's functional. The air can actually flow through. So that's on both sides. So that's what's going on with the front. This is a universal vent. I believe it's a replica of the Ford Focus RS. I don't know what year that is, but I think I'll put a picture of it up on the screen. And this is a replica of that. And I just bought that off the internet and do what I do best. Cut that out, and it's double side taped, and it's been on the car. I've driven it. It stays. It's not going anywhere. My plan was if there was any issue, I was going to rivet it down, but I tested the double side tape and it's working just fine. You will notice the stripe. That's just vinyl. I got a plotter, so inspiration is kind of like Ferrari and Lamborghini stripes, but this is my version. This is actually supposed to be the test one, because you notice here, like, I cut 2 different sides, but after I did it, I was like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It worked out, so that's that. So that's what's going on there. Coming alongside, next, as usual, ventilation. I've done this on plenty of my other cars. This is a pretty simple process. Cut, and then color and put my little piece on. See, my finger goes in, so ventilation. If you know, the Lotus Elise has something similar on there. That was kind of like my inspiration to try to do my version of the Lotus Elise, put it in the same location. Next along the side is the obvious TRD replica side skirt. These are pretty much a mandatory modification for these cars because there's, again, not much out there. Only thing I did different with mine is this section here that's indented. I just kind of painted a different color. So I thought about cutting the holes here and figuring out vents to the brake, but then I was like, if I do that, I gotta do the front, and the plan is not to make this like a dedicated track car. So I was like, that's fine. It just looks better. It gives it a little bit more definition to me. Next thing along the side is eBay special. This scoop. Nothing special about that. Mine is just double-sided taped on. I see other people have intricate ways of putting it on. I really didn't feel like taking the freaking fender off to then drill holes and, you know, put it on that way. Again, the theory here, I was gonna double-side tape it and see if it works, and then if not, then I would double down and doing the work to making it. But again, so far that's working so far, so it ain't broken, don't fix it, right? And the next major thing are these side mirrors. This is, I think I still have it in my eBay history. I'll look it up, put it on the screen, but they're motorcycle mirrors. Motorcycle mirrors, there are pictures, if anyone paid attention to where these mirrors are actually not mounted here originally. You can see right there, which is covered by the vinyl. They were actually mounted here before because I was trying to go for my inspirational mountain mirrors from the Ferrari Testarossa, which I also had back in the day on my CRX 4-door. And I loved it there, but the problem is when I put the driver's side on first, everything was awesome. I loved it. And then I put the passenger side on, and then I realized they were useless on the passenger side. I couldn't see it no matter what position I was in because it was being blocked from here. So then I was like, all right, well, I'll just do the original idea of just having one like the mountain mirror was, you know what I'm saying, because it's cool. But then because of the small garage I have and the backing and moving of cars, I actually have to always have a usable passenger mirror to see how close I'm getting to cars. So then I was like, well, shit, that's just going to make that process more difficult. So I then decided against that. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and mount them traditionally. Stop trying to be different. But surprisingly, when I mount them here, as you can see, again, usual DIY, I made a little plate. And these are the factory holes. One's here and one's under here. Right there. This comes with a little cover. And yeah, that's it. Not much to say there, just being creative to install those. Anyway, what I was saying, like, once I put them on, I was like, obviously they function better. But aside from that, I grew to love it because I love, like, just the aggressive look it gives versus the factory mirror that are these, like, stubby things that came up against. I've seen so many of these cars that, you know, are modified with body kits and all this stuff, and they have the factory mirror, and I just hate the way the factory mirror look. They're just so chunky and oh, it's just, I don't like it. So anyway, that's that. Moving further on, like I stated earlier, this is just black vinyl here, and this is here because I wanted the roof to be a different color, because the first one I had all white. It was fine, but I was like, I'm gonna try to do something different, kind of like, you know, all these supercars, like McLaren especially does that a lot, where the top half is one color, mainly black. So I was like, all right, well, you know, this was already black when I purchased it, so, and it's not an OEM, so I just kind of sanded it and just kind of threw another, you know, coat over it, and then went ahead and put the vinyl so I could have the black top illusion. And like I said, the stripe just continued on from the front all the way to the back. One of my favorite thing about this is that this aftermarket hardtop did not come with glass. It came with Lexan, and that just made it look so atrocious. I knew that was going to be a challenge because I was like, man, I want a nice hardtop like I had before, but those things on a good day is $3,500. It's more like $4,000 to $5,000 just for the freaking hardtop. And I was like, if you can even find one, I was like, there's no way, because that's like more than what I paid for the damn car that already came with one. So I was on the hunt for this, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Dealers, no dealers, because I realized as I'm searching, I learned that the hardtop wasn't really an option here in America. That's more of a Japanese European thing. So I would then have to try to get it imported, which shipping was just going to make it even more ridiculous. But I was fortunate to find at MIDSHIP Garage, they had one in stock. And I think it was probably about a month or some change before they actually shut the site down. Apparently they're currently out of business. I finally ordered it. So once I found out that they had it, I kind of lingered because I was like, oh, they have it. No one's going to want, you know, no one's going to get this. So I'll just wait. And then one day I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and buy this now. And I'm glad I did, because they closed up. Apparently there's some issues, which I'm not even going to elaborate on that because I don't know. I was fortunate. I ordered it. It was only $350, which was, I thought, was a steal, because it just made the car so complete once I got the glass, because it just made it look so much better. And then I threw a little bit of paint on it. So that's that. Going on to the back, you'll notice this wing here. Probably one of my favorite DIY things. This is version 2 of it. I'll put up on here again. This is another universal wing from the internet that I bought and just kind of did my thing, which wasn't much. The main thing I did aside from installing it was change the end plates. The end plates that came with it, I kind of modified to make it look better. And then I went ahead and made these end plates. Actually, I made these yesterday, because the main reason for making this, because I didn't have a problem with the first ones I made. It was that at speeds, this wasn't really stable. And it wasn't that there was an issue with the way this was mounted. It was because the rubber, actually, let me open this. These rubbers that are under here, like when the downforce, you know, when I'm driving and it starts to give the downforce, they make the whole thing move. Like, it makes the whole thing move. So you could see like it's shaking just a little bit, like when I'm driving. And I got annoyed because, you know, this has like you know, I put like a plate under here for like sturdy support. So it's not that, this whole thing kind of flexes. So that was the issue I was having. That was my main reason for changing the end plate. It wasn't so much like I had a problem with the look. And the reason for that was that this came down and touch here. So the little bit of movement that it would get, it won't get anymore, because you'd be sitting still. You're probably like, oh, it's gonna crack the glass or whatever, but you know, I got a little bit of rubber support here, so it'll be fine. And plus, it doesn't move that much. It's, like I said, it's already like stable, but that's just to make it not look like it's flimsy. Next, you have the rear bumper. So I did my rear bumper cut. Pretty much cut bumpers on almost all these damn cars. Cut the bumper off in the bottom because I know I was going to make the diffuser, and took the center mesh out. I mean, the rear is probably everyone's most favorite. That's where most of the DIY stuff's done. You know, I trim my, you know, my little design here. I have a piece of mesh that I need to put in here that I haven't put in there yet. I took this out because the plan was, as you can see, to put the custom dual exhaust. Kept the factory bash bar, so I took it off, cut the edge off both sides, then cut the holes, and then painted a different color, put it back on, so then the custom pipes could come in. And then the rear diffuser. So this centerpiece is a universal piece from Amazon, which I'll put up on screen. And then, you know, figured out how to mount it. And then I went ahead and made the end, this piece on both sides. Again, this is version 2, because I posted at some point that I broke this. And the way I broke it was really stupid. I was washing the car out front, and I put the bucket down behind the car. This dude and his friend came up to me and was like, oh my God, what is that? And, you know, as usual, like half an hour later, after talking about the car, what it is, they love it, you know, DIY stuff. Totally got sidetracked. I was drying off the car at the time, jumped in the car, backed up, and drove into the bucket. It went under and broke the whole thing off. So it was a stupid way I broke it. Anyway, no big deal. I ordered another one because this whole piece right here broke off. So I ordered another one, and then just kind of put the pieces back together and put it on. And then this was pieces off the old one where it has these curves that I then cut and then add end plates on version 2. So that's how that looks, like that. And there's a plate right there attached there, that's attached. And you know, not very good at explaining my DIY stuff, but there's that. I think that's all the DIY stuff on the outside. Now let's go under the hood. And then under the hood, we have the 2ZZ GTE motor, which is the 1.8, which is pretty much Toyota's VTEC. And it's bone stock. It doesn't really have any internals. It just have bolt-ons, have the headers, and then the custom exhaust. The transmission is a 6-speed. And then it has, you know, just a intake, which this came with the other car, so I didn't buy this. This was on the other motor, so all I did was just put it back on here. Needs a filter though. That filter is filthy. And the plan is to eventually move the battery to the front and then do my DIY earbox over here, but that's all for later. This needs to be moved as well. Probably gonna have to cut this into that, but whatever. Yeah, again, still work in progress. So that's what's under the hood. It needs to be tuned. Hasn't been tuned yet. All right, so inside, what we have going on here, the main thing is this roll bar. This roll bar, there's not really a lot of options available for this car. I know, I don't remember what company it is, but there's a company that sell them here, and it's the one that's designed for the soft top and hard top because it's like smaller. But this is actually from a British company. I found them online. I have to look through my history to see if I remember their name, but they have the option. They're more flexible. They can make it for hard top or soft top, because you know, for soft top you have to make it like the hoop smaller. But this one is designed specifically for a hard top, so it's like a little bit wider. And I also love the fact that this had the X. Like, they had the options of not having that or having that, and they just have more options. And this is the option I chose, a 4-point with the X in it, and I love it. I painted it gray, which is the same gray I paint on the exterior of the car. Like I said, the theme is black, white, yellow, and gray. And in here, you can see the yellow driver harness, and then the passenger seats obviously stock, and then this is a NRG seat, nothing fancy, nothing expensive. I put one in the Miata, and I realized, I was like, hey, it's cheap, but I was like, it's comfortable, I like it, and you know, I'm on a budget. I have 4 cars to pretty much buy stuff for, so I wanted a Momo, which actually I bought a Momo, but it was too small because I wanted to match the Momo. Oh, where did I put the steering wheel? I bought the Momo steering wheel, which is a 330 mil. I like all my steering wheels to be no bigger than 330 and concave, because for, you know, foot clearance. And I wanted to match that. It was a black Momo with the yellow write-in. I bought it. I ended up having to sell it. I actually lost because, like, you know, it didn't fit. It hurt my shoulders. I have wide shoulders, and this works just fine. Long story short, I ended up getting this. It works. It's in the car. That's that. Only other thing in here is a shifter I got off of eBay. I don't even know what company it is, but it's super nice. It's light. I really like it's light, and just a little bit taller than factory, so that does the job pretty good. And that's what's going on the inside. Just seat, harness, steering wheel, and shifter. Everything else is factory. So that's that for the inside. What else? Yeah, I think, oh yeah, oh well, I have to talk about the wheels, tires, and suspension. So when I bought the car, it already came with this strut bar, so I left it. It's a little dirty under here, but again, work in progress. It also came with that blue bar down there that's already on it. So that works out. It had the whole plastic assembly was in here that you put the spare in. It had that in there, but I took it all off. I still have it. They're all up there. And it's because, you know, for the ventilation purposes, like, I need all that gone, because then if the plastic's there, it's not really going to do anything. So I took it out, and plus I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to really carry a spare in this car. I'm never going to really use it. So I took it all out. And as you can see over here, the suspension, this is a Cusco. This came on the other car, and it's a all-in-one coilover, and the fronts come with the camber adjustment plates. That's that for suspension. The brakes are still stock for now. Don't know what I'm going to do with those in the future. I might just do pads and rotors, but you know, I might do a big brake. Not sure yet. We'll see where that goes, but for now they work just fine. Now for wheels and tires. So wheels, KE Motorsports. So the front, it's a staggered setup. The fronts are 15 by 8 plus 25. And then I'm running just Kuma all-season tires for now, because the whole point right now with this car is to just kind of get it going. It still needs to be tuned, and then kind of like drive it and then get more comfortable. When I get to that point where like I feel like I've, you know, I wouldn't say I would master it right away, but like get better at driving it, then I will start looking into, you know, getting better tires and better brakes and all that stuff, like, so I could push it even more. But for now, I just want to get it running and start driving it. So these tires are just perfect all-season tires, not too expensive, that I can use in all conditions for the time being. And they are 205 50s up front with just like a little baby stretch. It has about a 2.7, 2.8 camber up front, and the toe is neutral. Well, the toe might not be right now because I adjust the height, but it'll be fixed later on. In the rear, they are 15 by 9.5 plus 29. And what I'm running up back are, you know, Kuma tires again, but these are two 25/50s. I had two 35/50s on here, and they were just a little bit too much. I roll the fenders and slightly pull them, and they would rub under compression, and I was like, damn, that's too much. So I end up selling those and getting these instead. These fit just fine, and these have a little bit of stretch too, so it kind of worked out the way I want to. Now these cars from the factory came staggered, 16s in the rear and 15s up front. I didn't want to do that kind of stagger. I want them staggered in the sense of wider, but what I did, you can't see it looking from this angle, the fact that I have two 25/50s in the rear and 205/50s in the front, the circumference of the rear tire is actually bigger than the circumference in the front, so it's still kind of staggered in that sense from the factory, with a bigger oval in the back versus a bigger oval in the front. So kind of McLaren F1 look. That's kind of the look I was going for. And then the rear camber is about 2 inch negative in the back, 2 degrees I should say, not inch. So that's the car in a nutshell right now. Again, work in progress. That's kind of where it's at right now. The main focus right now is to just try to get it tuned. I don't have any plans on K-swapping it, because the internet love K-swapping everything. Everyone's like, oh, put a K-swap in your Miata, put a K-swap in your Civic. I'm pretty sure they're going to be saying the same thing about this too. Put a K-swap in this. And not too much people say that about that. No, not too much people care about that car. But I love all my cars for different reasons. FF, MR, FR, and this is a FR2. This was supposed to be a 4-wheel drive, but I think I explained that in a different video already. So this is the equivalent for that, and I'm actually happy it worked out that way, because I'm so in love with this car now. I wouldn't have it any other way. But the plan, my personal plan, was to collect all the different drivetrains, and a 4-wheel drive car would be awesome, and then a rear engine car, which there's only 2 options for that, either a Beetle or a Porsche. And I mean, a Beetle is not a performance driving car for me. That's more of a stance car, so it'd have to be a Porsche, and Porsches are, woo, yeah, that's probably never gonna happen. I'm already having a hard time with the 4-wheel drive car, but it's still feasible. So one day I'll have that, but I probably never have a rear engine drive car of my own. I think I've rambled on for long enough, according to this damn thing here. It's saying I've been rambling for 37 minutes, which I'm probably gonna have to cut that down a bit. Or me being lazy, I'll probably just post it just the way it is. And you watch it, you watch it, you don't, you don't. But that's the car for now. That's the first video I'm posting of it right now. The plan is to, you know, like I said, get it up and going the way I want to, and as I drive it, I'll make driving videos, because that's what I like to do. I don't even like to make videos like these, even though they're not that difficult. So that's it. Signing off.